On a day-to-day basis, I don't really wear makeup. It's not the kind of thing that I get up in the morning and I feel the urge to do, but if I'm going out or if I'm going to meet friends or if it's a night out or something like that, and it's not something ridiculously fancy, then I'll normally do a simple look. What I'll normally do is I'll start off with Klairs BB Cream, and this one's a very light formula, and I'll use that as a base all over the face. And then after that, once it's applied, I'll normally blend it out, sometimes with my fingers, sometimes with a brush. And then once I've done that, if there's anything which needs a little more coverage, I won't use more of the Klairs BB Cream. I'm actually going to use a Caylin BB Cream, and this one's slightly thicker, and I'll use that around the eyes, over any acne or spots that I might have, and I'll either use my fingers or some brushes. The main areas that I tend to try and cover up are the areas like the inner corner of the eyes, the outer corner of my eyes, which do tend to get quite red, but I don't always cover the redness on my lids just because I like to leave that. I'm not really looking to cover my whole face, and I don't mind if my eyes look a little bit red. That's how they look, and quite frankly I like a little bit of pinkness on my eyelids, so it's not the kind of thing that bothers me. After that I'll powder and then I'll apply blush, and I'll normally apply blush on the apples of the cheeks. Once I've powdered and applied blush, I'll normally start on the brows, and the first thing I always do whenever I'm doing my brows is just brush through them to make sure that I've got the basic shape, because sometimes if you've been sleeping or you've been rubbing your face, you can rub your eyebrows into some really weird shapes that they don't normally look like. So I normally start off by brushing through them and then filling in the areas which I feel are a little bit sparse. And for this I'll use two different brushes. I'll either use a thicker brush like the one that I'm using today, something which is normally used for applying eyeshadow because I like the soft edge that it gives, or I'll use something really small like this brush, which most of the time I use this one for eyeliner. And I'll get some black eyeshadow and I'll get this right down to the very bottom of the roots and then do a tiny wing on the outer corner. I'll make sure to bring that all the way into the inner corner of the eye, and then once that's done I'm going to be taking a brown eyeshadow and then a small fluffy brush, and starting on the outer corner of the eye as close to the lashes as possible, I'm just going to blend that all the way into the inner corner. And I like starting on the outside of the eye because if it's thicker and more blended out on the outer corner, it kind of makes it look like you've got slightly thicker lashes, and also like the lashes on the upper lid are casting a shadow underneath, and I quite like that effect. Once that's all blended out, I'll start off with mascara, and I normally use this one from Besame, and sometimes I'll alternate and use two. I'll use this one as just the first coat, and then sometimes I'll use another mascara, and normally these are just from Aldi, and I'll apply this on the very end of the lashes just to make them a little bit more wispy. And if you layer mascaras, sometimes you can get an even better effect than if you just use one. And I'll always apply that on the centre of the lower lashes as well, and I'll brush through them. Sometimes I'll wear false lashes, but not always. And then I'll move on to the lips. Now for the lips, I normally alternate between these two colours from Besame. I do have a little bit of a thing for this company. I love their retro packaging, so yeah, I tend to get quite a few of these each year at IMATS. It's not a good habit, but they've got such beautiful colours. So I'll start off with the dusty rose colour, and then I'll normally use either the red lipstick or I'll use a lip liner pen, and this one's from Kiko. And what I'll do is I'll fill in the outer corner of the lips and then right down the centre, and then blend that all out, and I'll use a lip brush for that. And that's it, you're done.